Also, too, like, how much does it pay?
It's a very broad question again. It depends on like where you're located, what your skill set is. So if you're like seem more similar like us, if you live like in DMV area, you can make like 250 to 300K.
300 then all?
Yeah.
Oh, to learn cloud. Like, it's like, and it's actually fun, but I have to force myself to learn it. It's on me at the end of the day because the world is really changing. Like, you have to be on it. So again, if you really want it, it's on you. So I get 100%. Look, you probably have a security plus, maybe even a security clearance, and nobody taught you how to write poems, or how to test a security control, or submit an ATO package. I'm Chris Akpala. A few years ago, I was in your shoes, qualified on paper, but completely lost when it came to RMF. I had the degree, I had the certs, I had the drive, and when somebody said how to test the AC2 control or validate stick findings, I had no clue what that actually looked like. Fast forward 5 years, I worked across DoD and federal agencies, led control assessments, written ATO package, and passed orders. That's why I built RMF Academy, to teach you the real world execution they don't cover in certification books. Inside, I'll show you how to write a poem and don't get bashed back. Test and validate security controls, translate tech jargon, navigate NIST 853, and RMF with confidence. If you're in IT supporting the government systems or stuck on the edge of cybersecurity, this is your way. The people who go through my training don't just get hired, they hit the ground running because they practice the work before day one. Go to rmfacademy.io and let's get to work. Welcome everybody to another edition of the Tech Woke Podcast. I am your host, Chris, a cybersecurity specialist inside the GovTech space. And in today's podcast, we have a great guest coming all the way from Dallas. His name is Kenneth Ellington. He has a cyber training program. He's a senior threat analyst. And without further ado, Kenneth Ellington, how you doing?
Pretty good, you, Chris?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? Man, you coming all the way out from Dallas? It's your birthday weekend, right?
Yes.
Oh, how you enjoying it? What you doing?
I did mostly eating really good food. I'm trying to get some gifts for certain somebody, but
Okay, sir, somebody. Okay. That's good to hear. I mean, hey, as long as you're enjoying, having a good time, definitely go down DC to check out the cherry blossoms. And again, I just want to appreciate you coming all the way down there, and then on your weekend, just stopping by for an hour just of your time. So I really appreciate you coming down.
of course.
So I've been watching you for a very, very long time. I think I've been watching you for almost 2 years now. I've been seeing a lot of the things you've been doing. Shout out to Han Ray. I know that you and Han Ray, he definitely mentioned you a couple of times when I talked to him. So, I just wanted to just start off for the audience. Can you kind of explain what, was it cyber threat intelligence or is it cyber threat?
Threat hunting.
Threat hunting. Can you kind of explain what that is to the audience?
Yeah. So threat hunting normally is a much more proactive approach to cybersecurity. So think of like the tech engineering. Tech engineering would be much more reactive, where you wait for your role to fire off to detect certain threats within the environment. Threat hunting is much more proactive. So you're actually looking for threats that are not known specifically towards your environment to try to prevent them from actually happening within your corporation.
Okay, and I think I'm going a little bit further, but before we get into the meat and potatoes, and just kind of tell people who you are too. Just kind of, and how do you get into this space?
Yes, I'm Kenneth Ellington. I've been in this space for around 7 years now. Started teaching kindergarten and cybersecurity, which was very interesting. Okay, they can't sit down for more than 5 seconds.
Kindergarten?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I taught in a local elementary school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. From there, I got a job as a threat intelligence analyst at Publix. I did software engineering for like 2 years. I hated it. It was about awful. So I went back to cybersecurity, and I've been in that space ever since. So I've worked as a system engineer, SOA engineer, senior consultant. I'm the detection engineer. Now I do pattern consulting for my normal day job.
Okay, so you dive all. You have a camera soon?
No, no way.
Okay, so you didn't done it all. So back to cyber threat word. So how do you normally, like, what do you do? Do you use a SIEM? A SIEM, like, can you kind of explain what that is?
Yeah. SIM stands for Security Information Event Management and Monitoring System. Depends on you guys. Think of it like central log collector for our security events. It is truly for security events. I can't stress that enough. So with that, you can do roles such as detection engineering, threat intelligence, threat hunting roles as well. You can do automation work with it. So that helps correlate events, ingest logs with their platform, so you can follow the agent on, let's say, like a Windows device or Mac OS system, and you can just logs inside of your SIEM, correlating the build rules off of it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Can you kind of explain to the audience like what is logs?
Just basically an event generated on your system is all.
Oh, yeah. So it's just data. Yes, be. It's just random data. I just want to make sure they know because when I first started, even at my job, when I did look at logs, I'm like, what am I looking for? So like in the sense, like, what are you looking for? You just looking for anything abnormal? Like what are you looking for when you review these logs?
Um, anything abnormal, you'll normally have like a baseline of your environment. You know what looks normal compared to abnormal, and then you want to see like what deviates off of that. It depends on what industry you're in for your corporation. For different policies and on like regulations, maybe HIPAA controls, track around rightness, CSI. So it just depends.
Okay, I got you. So it just depends on the industry. So like when you're doing like in the SIM space, you're looking out for threats. Like, are you like studying up on threats or like what threats are you trying to protect you from?
Normally, there's like a standard baseline that are common type vectors that a lot of organizations get attacked for. So you might want to look for certain Windows logs or Linux logs, or you might look for IAM logs for credential harvesting, stuff like that. AWS or cloud security logs, as well, firewall, network logs. So it just depends. But those are like the most common buckets, I would say, for more corporations.
Oh, okay, I got you. So is there anything that goes on to like this type of field? Like what else? What other tools that you need to pay attention to kind of get into this space?
Like EDR, XDR, or extended detection and response platform, and then endpoint detection and response platform. You had TIPS or threat intelligence platform, and I will talk about that as well. You have SOAR, which is security orchestration automation response. You can also have agentic AI, what hasn't been fully asked, means completely different things. So there's a couple of the common ones I'm gonna use for my personal job.
I got you. So I know AI is kind of getting incorporated into this space, like, and I know you agentic is kind of like more of like agents to kind of take care of things. Like, what is the agents capable of doing right now?
They're helping to automate some of the workflow processes, or they can help to enhance your overall process. I use AI to help create detection rules, and then I modify them for my particular clients that I had for that. There's like internal and external AI models, right? In a external one is like you create a Claude account and you use that to run your workflows. Understand? This external account which you trying to purely your own data set, and this is an internal just toward your own network, not towards the public facing world.
Okay, I didn't know Claude could be used in the cybersecurity space. I didn't know that. Do you think that's like say for example, like if somebody's trying to break into the field, if they're learning a skill like that, creating agents or things to kind of use in that field, do you think that's kind of where they could get into?
Uh, it is. I would so say you should be able to functionally to do it yourself before you use AI. I'm the garbage in, garbage out. So I can say don't what you put in and back correctly.
No, I understand. Yeah. So like this kind of tell me about your journey. Like when you got into this field, did you have to get like a degree or anything?
I have a degree in MIS in cybersecurity from USF, but you technically don't need a degree. It's always going to be helpful in my personal opinion, but you don't have to have a degree. Not like being a doctor or whatever.
Okay, do you think your degree helped you like get into the space?
I learned most of my stuff from my on-job training. Honestly, I would say like 90% of what I did for my first couple of jobs was through like working in Publix.
Okay. So I got you. So that's what I be saying because even for myself, I'm like I got a degree and all that stuff. They told me no. Like I think dinosaur on you.
So I use Wirefox when that never use work. Go.
I'm like, do we still need to use Spark? Sure, do. Nah, okay. So like, what's kind of like the day in the life of and a role that you do?
Um, Depends. I have a bunch of different clients, so it all varies. But like normally, I'll log inside my corporation environment. I'll check to see what rules I fired off, see what alerts have came in. I'll then check my list to see like what tickets need to be tuned. So different rules need to be tuned for different environments. I'll then look like stakeholders, see what they want done from me, or see if there's any updates that we need to fix in the agents, or any of the servers down, has there been any attacks recently, and then kind of go from there.
I got you. So like, when you was like new in this field, like, how was it navigating it? Just for the audience so they can know when they trying to get into them.
So there's like a fire rules basically. All the acronyms and terms were new. I didn't know what I was doing. If I were lost or confused. And then like the comparison for a human being, we compare ourselves towards like the closest person. everyone else seems like they're geniuses and really smart if I've already stupid half the time. So like the mental part of it is probably the hardest part about being in this field.
When you first started in the field, what is kind of like some of the things you wish you knew when you started getting into the space?
It's a good question. From like, you mean from like more of a personal side or technical side?
Just kind of like more of like text phase. Like you
Okay.
feel attacked and you like, oh snap, like I'm thrown into this.
I would say like really know operating systems and how they work because those would be the biggest log source generator. So know how Windows works in the backend, know how Linux works in the backend, how to generate logs, what are some error codes that are very common for that. And then from there, no, I'd say no, but know how to use one Excel for the backend command line processors. So installing servers, disinstalling them, updating log sources, things of that nature is very important. That's like half my job. And then specifically for my area, I understood studying how to like create rules from scratch, right? I understand how to do threat research, like how to Google something, and then how to do research on different articles to actually build a proper rule.
Okay, I understand. Like, and then also too, y'all use Splunk too, right? Like, what do y'all use Splunk for? Just kind of like vulnerability management, or
Well, also it's a broad question because Splunk in itself is a log management and data aggregation platform. Then there's a security side of Splunk called on Splunk Enterprise Security. That's like the SIEM component of it. I thought the detection engineering component of it. So Splunk can ingest any data source. So BI data or business intelligence, financial data, IT operations, observability data, DevOps data, networking data. So it can build EQs on almost everything.
okay. And then like with the SIEM, right? Like what's kind of like your data like we're using the SIEM, like say if you're using it, like what do you do during the day when you use it?
Um, Depends. For an average day, I would say a lot of tuning, a lot of maintenance. So you're building roles or fixing automation workflows so things don't break for Jira or something like that. Or just responding towards instance or alerts.
Okay, so y'all just so I'm just trying to piece together. Are y'all getting like tickets when you're doing this job, or
Yeah. Well, you should get tickets. Some of it's manual. Shouldn't be because it's inefficient, but you should have like Jira tickets or surfing out tickets or something like that.
Okay, so you getting a ticket, and then like say there's an alert going on, people report it, and then you get to it, and then sometimes it's just reported, and then you just handle it. That's kind of like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think like with this role, like in today's society, is something that you need to pay attention to, or?
If you like this, I tell everyone if people are happy, I'm against that cybersecurity. Cybersecurity isn't for everyone. That's perfectly fine. People often tell me they want to do it for the money. I'm like, this is fun. They're every year it's heck here have those they have to pay. But I'm like, if you're just in it for the money, you'll probably get burnt out pretty close, to be honestly. The job can be a lot, that you problem now. So like the thing I tell people is like to always understand that what your why actually is for being in this field. Because if your why is strong, then like you can't overcome anyhow.
Okay. I mean, like, I agree with you saying, like, when I first got into the space, it was mainly for the money. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. So when I said, do what I'm saying, I was like, well, I'm out here, man. I don't feel like I belong. But eventually, you got to come up with something. Like, for me, I was like, okay, well, I'm doing this role. I'm actually carrying this stuff is government systems. You know, if this goes down, you know, this is on us. So I had to create a different why. Like, I'm serving our country, for example. So you got to come up with different why when you're in this space. With Simon Third, like also too, like how much does it pay?
It's a very broad question again. It depends on like where you're located, what your skill set is. So if you're like SIEM or something like us, if you live like in DMV area, you can make like 250 to 300K.
300 then and all that?
Yeah.
Oh dang. Oh, yeah, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 250, 300?
Yeah, if you have the clearance, it's
Oh, okay. Okay, I get what you're saying. I ain't know they would pay that much.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just all just vulnerability, just managing.
well, it depends. If you're if you're like a senior detection engineer, if you're like a senior Splunk person, then yeah, you'd pay close to that.
Okay, so like, say if somebody trying, because you know these are enterprise tools.
Yeah.
You know, how do you get access to those tools?
From CMO plug, you can use our resources. We have Run Academy for that, which we have Run Platform to manage it, because they are god awfully expensive. Like running our Splunk servers is probably 5 figures a year.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Yeah, so like have a production one while it's a man and manage constantly with no downtime is very expensive, which is why we cover that cost.
Okay, so like say you're a hiring manager, right? Yeah, you're trying to hire for this role. What are you looking for a new person to get in this role?
For me, it's very simple. Can you do the job that we fit within our company culture and our company system for our personal team? So it's your job as a candidate to best explain that to how you can help us reach our goals.
Okay. But like, what skills do you need? Do you mean like, what are you looking for? Hands-on experience? I'm talking about for breadth. I mean,
Or is it middle, the senior level, the junior level?
junior.
Junior. Or- I would say like the willingness to actually learn is probably the biggest thing. Because I don't think you know everything if you know the person, my realistic and my personal opinion. Ideally, you will have some type of IT or cybersecurity background. Could be doing customer support, could be doing the sales engineer, could be doing like VM work, just depends. So I want to see that you can actually build rules, manage them, then actually tune them. Maybe in a smaller capacity, but still have that type of mindset.
So how would you do? Like, how would somebody like? I know you got your academy. Yeah. Like, how would somebody show that? Like, would they have to build their own? Is there any resources for that?
Yeah, they can build their own environment.
Okay.
Then you can install Splunk server. You can install Splunk instance on a Linux server through AWS or Google GCP or Azure. You can fan it up and then you can just allow to then break your build rules.
Okay, I got you. Okay. So this is a good role. You could make you're basically to get in this role, you gotta need to learn like a little Splunk, a little let's use a SIEM tool, kind of know some technical expertise. Just kind of and trying to get in this space and like okay, so break down like how did you start like getting into like teaching this?
So I started teaching when I was like 20 years old. So I taught elementary students.
20 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a decent while. So I taught in local elementary school back in like 2018. I taught kindergartens and first graders how to use cybersecurity or understand how does cybersecurity actually work within a corporation.
I don't know.
It was interesting.
Like, so you did exam. I'm curious. Like, did they just look at you like?
Yeah, they asked me, "Am I Batman?" I said, no, I'm not Batman. They asked, "Am I a good guy?" And I said, "Yes." So they're like, "Oh, so you're Batman?" I'm like, "I'm not Batman." That went off like 30 minutes. It was very nice. You get to past like now kids like get watching those certain things. But it was really fun. That's like how I started. Cause my mindset is, I can teach a 7-year-old about cybersecurity. I can teach an adult about cybersecurity, right?
Yeah.
That was all my mindset. And then like during COVID, it really escalated because people were kind of dying. So I go step down after I graduated. And so I started to teach Splunk and cybersecurity out of my parents' spare bedroom.
Oh, you did?
Be it outboard.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So I taught my first class like in June of 2020. Everyone loved it. I was surprised. I thought I thought dog trash, but they loved it apparently. And then from there I taught another class. And from there I taught another class, and then like what was it? Spring of 2022. Someone told me, "You know what, Kenneth, if you actually charge me money for the class, I pay you." It's like, "Oh, really?" It's like, "Oh, yeah." Someone's way I have again another like month. I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I did like the beta course. Charged like $80 like per seat. So it wasn't crazy money. I made like $800, but like that was like money like I made by myself. Is real money? Yeah. Out there felt big corporation back me. I'm just out for my pure skill set. So it was like unlock the door of my money for the log back in. So I kind of said screw it, and I started my own company from there. We've been in business for almost 4 years now.
Nah, but I understand how you feel too. Like when people say like, you know, when you sometimes you're just doing it for free. A lot of the times they don't take it seriously.
I do not.
Yeah, like they not. I didn't give people free stuff. Me don't take it seriously. That's why like you when I get services from people, I just make sure I pay because I'm like, I gotta make sure that I know that that if you don't pay, then they gonna be like, well, I'm gonna figure it out, or you're not gonna. They might not hold yourself accountable. So like I get what you're saying. Did you have that issue?
Yeah. Keeper has told me they think to themselves. I'm like, don't might have it yet though.
Yeah, they do it myself.
They'll see it.
No, yeah, they come back, right?
Yeah, like a year later, all that, I still can't find a job. I still can't get my salary increase. So I'm like, I wanted to want it.
Because I got into the training space, and to this day, I think I got like 2 or 3 people inside the GovTech space as an ISO. And I'm like, even that it when they get to that position, it does help. You know, you be like, okay, because sometimes you don't think what your training is worth it, because you like, well, I'm charging this. I hope they're getting something. And then you say, oh, I got this job. So is it saying how you feel too?
Yeah. If you always ask me, Marvin stuff's so expensive. That stuff was like, you spent $7,000. Right.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, for that. It was more like white glove service, so very, very small.
so you do I got you.
Yeah, so the cyber range had changed, so now it's much more of like a large group, more kind of like self-paced, but the environment's already built out now. People are like, why still cost so much money? Because I'm if you get a job that will pay you triple what you're making right now. So it's just like most of an investment, you can get the triple your salary.
Yeah, like if you paid that amount now, and then later on it can be 120,000. Is that worth it? I think that's worth it. I get what you're saying. So yeah, so back to the training, like in your training, like how do you help people? Like,
So I would say our ideal client that I normally try to help is like either someone that's already in IT, like IT support, and they're in networking, or they're already in cybersecurity. We'll then help them reach their next goal. So some of them want to become threat hunters, or detection engineers, or some of them want to become cloud security engineers, right? They'll go through the range. We'll help train them in certain technology stacks. They'll come to our workshops. I have a team of hiring managers I actually work with that work with like Deloitte, Accenture, Elastic, Splunk as well. And then they'll help lend them some certain jobs that they're looking for.
yeah, Elastic is becoming really big, right?
It is.
Yeah, Elastic's really big. And then also too, do you have like different trainers, or are you doing it, or?
I have different trainers, so I have a team that helps me out.
Okay, so uh, have you ever had this issue like when you train people, like okay, they gravitate to you more, or they gravitate to other people more, or is it kind of like the training university helps everybody?
It helps everyone, but they always ask for me because I'm at the base, and I understand it, right? So
Now you got the offer that. Hell, we'll be at face forever. We already been on me CEO mode, man. Now I understand. So do you like have a resume too? Like, and what do you do to help with resumes? What do you look for? What are you looking for this position?
I personally hate look at resumes in general, so I try to look at them as little as possible. I'm much more big on LinkedIn. So if I can't figure out like what you're doing within 10 seconds of your LinkedIn profile on out, I just won't review your profile. It's not worth my time. So that's why we harp on LinkedIn a lot. I forget like a lot. So a lot of my clients come from there. Like a lot of my job opportunities come from there. A lot of my contract come from there. So your LinkedIn isn't good. It's hard to like land a job in my personal experience. That and like in-person networking is something we stress as well. Especially with you live like in DMV area. There's always conferences here, right? So meetups you can do.
Yeah, you have to go. Like I think yesterday, no, 2 days ago, I did this demo, and then this recruiter just hit me up, and it was like, hey, I'm referring to this job, just offered a demo, like I was doing just to kind of talk about some stuff. LinkedIn is a very underutilized source because there's a lot of people watching you. I think it's better than actually going to networking events, in my opinion.
So I've never have to strengthen a relationship. So if I connect with someone like on LinkedIn and we haven't met in person, you meet in person again, it develops up a relationship a lot stronger than my personal opinion.
Okay, so like when your clients do your program and they talk to recruiters, are they understanding like what they're saying, or like what it is to be in space?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. We try to like our job as coaches is to appeal our people in the best possible position to be successful, right? But we can't take the shot for you, right? That's ultimately has to be on you. So I'll give you all the tools and platforms and know to be successful, but to actually implement it will be ultimately on you. And if you want it or not.
Yeah, it's on you. Like even for myself, like I have to force myself to learn cloud. Like it's like, and it's actually fun, but I have to force myself to learn it. It's on me at the end of the day because this the world is really changing. Like you have to be on it. So again, if you really want it, it's on you. So I get 100%. So like, what certifications are like is good? Like security, are you teaching them to get like security plus to get in this role? And how fast are they getting there and getting a job?
I haven't studied Security Plus like in 6 years. Honestly, I took it like in college. I got it. And I'm like, I don't need it anymore. So I mainly niche down certain technology sets like Splunk or Sentinel, Cribble as well, which is really growing. So most of my certifications are in those areas, and we help our students get certification in those areas. But our hiring managers work at those companies actually too.
I got you. Man. And how fast are we getting these roles? Like 30 days, a year?
Depends. So I've had 6 people get jobs in the past month.
Fucking congrats.
Thank you.
What's your me sign?
Yeah. So last two One got an application security analyst job, paying $80,000 for a full remote.
Fully remote. That's doing it.
Yeah, that took her 14 months to get. Another person got a job at Elastic, keep making I think close to 200K.
Yeah, Elastic is 200K off the break. You know, you're good for a long time, and Elastic is hard to get into.
Yeah, I know. I interviewed there. They had to pick me.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Hey, yeah, you got a lot of things going on. So, hey, sometimes gotta protect you. Or like, hey, you guy will probably like, hey, you need to work on his business more.
Yeah.
You never know. You know, so yeah, so that's great. Everything that you're doing. Yeah, and then also too, if you want to shout it out, what's the company? To the audience, you can
What Ellen Cyber Cabinet?
yeah, it's something. You know, we just shout out your company.
Yeah. So with Ellington Cyber Cabinet, we've been in business for I think only 4 years in June. We do threat hunting, detection engineering training, SIEM training, SOAR training. That we help guide you through our production platform because we have production platforms for ES, DFR, attack analyzer, SOAR as well. We're also built out an internship program starting this 8 weeks, so like around May, June time. We get to use like verifiable resume general experience to my company, and I can vouch for you for that in order to land a job.
Then most definitely make sure you check it out. I'm gonna definitely put the link to his school community and make sure it's in the video. So also too, like Tyler's ashamed with cybersecurity. I know we kind of talked offline about this. Like even with they have AI that's doing the role that you're doing. You know, how do you feel about that? Do you think it's gonna take over your job, or do you think somebody should go to something else? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
As of right now, I'm not really too concerned about it, honestly, as I use it. And a lot of times it's very stupid.
It's dumb. This is pretty dumb. Yeah. Dumb as rocks.
Cloud is better, but ChatGPT, I'll profit for something. It'll give me something like it's not correct. I say, oh man, I'm so sorry, man. It's just not right. I'm sorry, Jared.
That's exactly what it says.
That's where again, like it's so occurred. Oh man, I'm so sorry, man. And so a lot of times it's really dumb. So you have to prompt it multiple times, and you're just like, this is perfect SO. So a lot of that, some have you work that for a long way.
Do you think we have like 10-year run, 20-year run, which work comes? I think we get to AGI. They said we already at AGI. I mean, no.
Well, the thing is like the infrastructure standpoint, we don't have the resources, no one to build it out.
The harbor or nothing.
Yeah, because so I think Meta built a new data center like in Louisiana or somewhere. I think it's either in Tennessee or Louisiana. I think it's the size of like the entire island of Manhattan.
Oh man, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Man, that's the one that's going to mess with the environment.
The people are complaining, but things are in good weekend about it. Yeah. And that's it for like one like data center. You don't have the resource in order to fully build this out. So I don't see it happening.
Now we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. I from my perspective, like we talked about automation. I think automation is going to take over a lot. You got to learn that automation stuff. And just keep developing your skills to stay there, because I think we're at a space now. If you're not already good, or you're not already where you at, because I think we're gonna be more managing. That's how I think it is. 30 years, yeah. So I would just caution audience, just make sure you get in as fast as possible. You know. And did you hear anything else in the cybersecurity space? Or that's good. That's the main thing. But do you think AI in general is something to worry about, or you just gonna use it as a tool?
I think you should learn about it and understand how it works, but it's so we're still at the beginning stages for what it actually can do. So I wouldn't overly stress about it. Just be knowledgeable about what's going on. That big is a piece of advice soldier.
Okay. Well, we're back. Well, Kenneth, thank you for coming on. We're about to just slowly close it out. But I did want to ask you a couple questions before we close it out.
Of course.
For the audience, can you tell them where did they find me?
Yeah, you can find me either on LinkedIn. I'm on there way too much as it is, but probably in business, so I kind of have to do it. You can find us on YouTube, or you find us at ellingtoncybercuttinghack.com. That will have all our school information, which should be at the link in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show too. So I'll make sure I put your school academy in the show notes. And then also kind of like, what is one thing that you want to let the audience know? It could be a quote, statement, anything that you want to let the audience know to keep going.
I think artist says this as well, but closed mouths don't get fed. So if you want something, you have to go after it. My thought process has always been, there's certain things that if you're not willing to do in public, look stupid, talking to people, reaching out. If you're not willing to do that in public, you can't have things you want in private.
Yeah.
I mean, it's flying, traveling, having a family. That's kind of how it is.
Yeah, sort of another you got married. But I agree with you 100% on that. Like, even for myself, like more of like for me recently, I just been calling people, hey, can you do me a favor? You know what I'm saying? Hey, can I get this? Can I get that? I got some things that's coming next month or months previous, and it's just basically just hey, I'm just asking. Like I'll go into a restaurant, hey, I want to do an event here. Can I get this location or can I get this? That's what I'm starting to do now. Just ask. Disposable balls don't get bad. So I agree with you 100%. Well, Kenneth, thank you for coming on the podcast and thank you for coming on Bigger Dog. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. So for everybody that's watching on YouTube, remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and if you have any comments below, write down the comments below. Also check out RMF Academy if you're trying to learn about risk management, GRC. You have a lot of trainings on there. But for everybody, remember this. Get 1% better every day. Peace out. I'll see you on the next one.